Now we will invite Dr. Rai to give his presentation and say a few words about his journey, his personal journey from how the research started and how it went and all the fine details. Thank you, Dr. Rai. Big round of applause for everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a very, very humbling experience for me. I'll try to give a small synopsis of the book, what exactly it means to all of us. Actually, it was first on my consciousness accident. When I became a vascular surgeon in Brooklyn Jewish Hospital, 930 beds, active cardiothoracic surgery next to downstate. I was then attending to do vascular surgery means that time only arterial surgery. I remember paying that malpractice insurance. I had 1 month, I had one case, a femoral optical bypass, and I have no cases. Next month, no cases at all. And the patient had ulcer on both the legs, both the feet. And second month, I did the other side. This is how difficult it was. So immediately I had to do something. I started concentrating on the venous side because the leftover feet, those days, ulcers were dressed by interns. Today, ulcer is a big thing because there's a big industry behind it. Nobody gets ulcer patient. It goes to wound care center. Those days, intern has to do the dressing. So suddenly I took interest in ulcers. Next thing I see my office flooded with ulcers, 15 years, 18 years, 20 years duration ulcers. Everybody had a venous stripping. That's all they had. All the venous disease means venous stripping. It was decided by Trendenberg 200 years back. And we are still continuing. Even today, we are continuing the same thing. I'm a great proponent of saving the great saphenous vein. That's my work. It is now coming to be known more and more. It's a hot discussion in all the corporates right now. So I started concentrating on the venous valve disease. Then I had to study the venous valves. So age-old study, descending plebogram, which was done by a cut down of the femoral vein. We had to reinvent, me and Dr. Tahir. Four of us in the 1980s joined together. One listener from the West, and then Dr. Raju, Dr. Tahiri, and me from the East. We exchanged our notes and we started on the work. Listener did the first valvuloplasty. Raju popularized it very much. Dr. Tahiri did the first vein valve transplant in the femoral vein. And I was bold enough to do, to tell you frankly, a vein valve transplantation below the knee in the optical vein. Optical vein is untouchable, you know that. Right vein, optical vein, portal vein, they're all untouchable veins. It's what we are taught. Don't touch that. Don't do anything. This is how we are taught, right, Dr. Muthuswamy? So I did the first vein valve transplantation. Then I had to study the venous valve. So reinvented a descending plebography, which I written a chapter for the radiologists in the textbook angiology. I did 500 procedures. And that means you put the catheter from the interjugular vein into the femoral vein and study the motion of not motion, valves, whether it's competent or incompetent. While doing one procedure in the early stage, we have to tilt the table. The patient has to be erect. While tilting the table, there's an old machine in the Brooklyn joint got frozen. And the whole room was dark. And the patient was in the standing position, me and my resident just holding him. It's so dark, can't see anything. My technician ran to the panel and we are holding the spraying almost. You can actually hear the breathing. We are in the panic. And during that time, only the thing you can see, the dark room in the screen. And this washed out contrast was caught in the valve. And suddenly I saw this valve moving. First time I saw that, valve not only moving, it's rhythmically moving with every heartbeat. And I just told my president, look, the valves are moving. The passing of the vehicle, we forgot about it. Everything went on well. And after 15 days, it was haunting in my mind in the night. Was this valve moving passively or actively? Question. If it is passively, there must be another force. What is the other force? It is rhythmically moving in every heartbeat. Can you show that? I'll show you that. It's very thrilling when I saw first time. Even now it's thrilling when you see it in the YouTube. See there is the EKG. I can time it to the EKG. You see the valve, the femoral valve, all the valves, the femoral valve. This is a patient with 68 beats. See the valves are moving during every heartbeat. And I could time it to the EKG. It was a very thrilling experience for me. Even now when I see it's thrilling to me. Then I timed the EKG. It was during the atrial diastole, it was a period. So I could connect the valve to atrial diastole. But I was stuck in the starting law. Atrium had no function forever. We are not going to designate any function in the atrium, except a small function given as Dr. Jair will tell, atrial kick. Otherwise, it's a conduit. The first phase is the reservoir. Second phase, the conduit. The third phase, they say there's a small kick it gives to increase endosolic pressure, endosolic volume of the ventricle. That's the only function it has. So, to understand my work, so that's why I started doing experiments in the canine heart. I took a heart model in the canine heart, only for the very dedicated president I had in the this thing is here. They're very famous virologist now. He used to come and work with me on a weekend. We did all these experiments on a Saturday because I was a very actively practicing surgeon. So we did the experiments. And when he's free and when I'm free, we'll come and do the dissection on the canine hearts. This is how we started it. To give you some understanding of my work, you should know the history of medicine. Otherwise, you have no use. It's very fascinating. Why we ignore the entire, why do we entire medical profession ignore the function of the atrium? It's very intriguing thing, isn't it, for all of us? Why? Two things. I'll give a beautiful insight into the history, very important. And take a trip back in the history, 2,300 years. Walk. I can really, to tell you frankly, all these years, I am finding so much into it. I can really converse with Aristotle, converse with William Harvey, converse with Ecopatente, converse with the Parasaurus. All these people are right in front of me. I can talk to them. I can communicate with them. That is my experience. And that's why I can give you insight. Why we missed Aristotle, the greatest philosopher. When he says something, nobody can refute. Even if you refute, you have to modify your findings. That's how it is. He's not a physician. He's a student of Plato and also a teacher of Alexander the Great. He was a son of a physician. He was interested in everything. He used to go and dissect on the dead bodies. And that's why he wrote the first book of anatomy. There may be something that's not relevant for us, but he wrote the first book of anatomy. That is being taught from student to student to student to student. And when Padua became like Harvard University of West, Padua, Ferrara, and Rome, three great universities. Padua was the greatest. You know why it's great? People, who are the people there? Chairman of mathematics, Galileo. Chairman of chemistry, Boyle. And chairman of anatomy, Ecopatente. You can imagine what type of people were there. And that's why till then it was taught in the curriculum of the Padua is anatomy by Aristotle, philosophy and physiology by Galen. This is what they taught. This is what they learned. So Aristotle, when he did experiments on the heart, this is what he found. It's a naked eye observation. There's no microscope those days. He saw the heart. He saw the two ventricles. Actually, heart is not an organ of circulation in the heart, okay? Forget about atrium. Your heart is not even an organ of circulation. Organ of circulation is the liver. And that's why you would say you are my colleague. You don't say my heart, right? It came from Arabic word. Anyhow, so when he saw the heart, he saw the ventricles, strong muscles, fibrous tissues, and he cut it off. And he saw that is the heart. And above it, he saw the great sac of the superior vena cava and vena cava on the right side, coming and joining and draining into the ventricle. On the left side, he saw the pulmonary veins joining and draining to the left ventricle. So he said, heart is, this is explanation, heart is the strongest muscle in the body with fibrous tissues. And the great veins, when they join that, makes a pouch. It's an extended pouch. He did not call it an atrium. He said call it extended pouch. And this education went into Padua. And everybody after that concentrated only on the ventricles. So when William Harvey, ambitious British, born in 1578 in Kent, wanted to become the best doctor, he went to Padua, not in England. He went all the way to Padua because there was a celebrity anatomist, Hieronymus Fabricius Dinker. I am very much in conversation. You know why? Because he was the first one to find the function of the valves. But all these discoveries are by imagination and observation. He said valves open in one direction, but it was against the laws of Galen. So he modified it. It opens, but he didn't say anything else. It opens in one direction only. Blood has to go upwards towards the heart. If he says it moves only upwards towards the heart, all the teachings of Galen will go away. So he did not say anything else, but he became a celebrity. At the age of 33, he became the chairman of the Department of Anatomy in Padua, and William Harvey comes to learn under him. And what is the first thing he learns? Because he's a celebrity. He was concentrating on the valves. He learned everything about the valves. And then, when in the curriculum of William Harvey, he's learning the anatomy of Aristotle. So he never even thought there is atrium. To tell you frankly, he never knew there's atrium. That's why he concentrated on the function of the ventricle only. And one statement is that it's very difficult to understand the function of heart created by the God. You cannot concentrate on diastole and ventricle simultaneously. Henceforth, I shall concentrate on the systole of the ventricles. That's what he said. And he concentrates, and definitely he's the first one to recognize heart is the organ of circulation. Liver is gone out. For 1500 years after Galen, not 1500 after Aristotle, liver was the organ of circulation. You may think this is stupid at the present time. Non-medical people will think it's stupid, or did you think like that? But it's the truth. Only in 16th century, we came to know heart is the organ of circulation. After that, entire world of heart, cardiology, everybody came into existence. Today the progress is amazing. So he studied ventricular function, ventricles and the heart. So he discovered the ventricular systole and the forward pushing function. He established that the blood moves in the arteries because of the ventricular system. But one great thing, he's a genius. For me, he's a genius. Always I say myself to him. I compliment his work. Very, very simple test. Simple test. Nobody can think he can do that. What he did is very simple. He took a tonic. Put a tonic here. When he put the tonic here, what he did, he only had much more the weight.
Why? You can feel that rate of okay. I mean, blood is moving in the rate. Okay. The veins are becoming hot. My thought, this blood in the artery goes into the vein, most probably. What is this nonsense? All this thinking that blood is lost into the tissue. That's the thinking. Arteries are end arteries, veins are end veins. All the blood goes and disappears into the tissue. And blood is constantly produced in the liver. There is no communication. That's what thinking is, right? So one drawing of circulation PR that you can understand. So he said there must be. To confirm that, we did the error test. Second time, we put the tooth very tight. Open the arteries and the veins. I hope you're all with me so far, right? How we found that? No radial pulse. That means he has opened the arteries. Now, there is no involvement of the veins. If veins are collapsed, or limb is failed, this made him think that there is a communication between the arteries and the veins. It's the same blood moved from the arteries to the vein. He made that declaration. First time. Nobody could believe it because there is no microscope, there is capillaries is not found out. So nobody could believe that. But it was a statement he made, a declaration. Only after 50 years it's proved when Murphy came into the scene and found the capillary in the pulmonary circulation by microscope. And they said, my God, this guy is a genius, William Harvey. We did that 50 years back without a microscope. So that is why we came to know arteries and veins are connected to the capillaries. Since then we came to know. It's only 400 years back all these things are happening. So this simple test he established this. But what the mistake he did is he thought ventricular systole is good enough to push because it's a closed circuit, it's good enough to push the blood in the arteries and it has to come back to the atrium. So it is one force. That's why he thought venous valves are very important. They are created the venous valves so the blood cannot go back. So he says to Boyle, he confesses to Boyle. This statement is important for me. He says, but for the knowledge of the function of the venous valves, I wouldn't have been able to discover the function of the ventricular systole. What a big statement. In pulmonary arteries, there's only one diagram of the valves. There's nothing else. For me, 400 years back, I found the motion of the venous valves. But for the motion of the venous valves, I would make a statement today in front of you all. I wouldn't have been able to find the function of the atrial diastole. There is a mysterious connection between me and William Harvey because both our lives, valves played a major role to discover the function. This now completes the function of the basic physiology, right? This is a basic physiology 400 years later we came to know on the heart. That is, atrial diastole is a mechanical function, ventricular systole has mechanical. Now, complete this, what I tell you. We came to know one thing, that ventricular systolic force is only enough to push the blood to the end arterioles. But if it's only for the ventricular systole, the blood cannot come back in the veins. So we are lost actually at present. We don't have any good explanation. But somehow it's our field in our medicine, we don't see, we don't know. So we gave two agentic forces immediately. We said the peripheral muscular contraction must be helping the brain blood to come. And 1972, Bollinger discovered respiration can aid this. These are all agentic forces. If there is no muscular contraction, you are lying down 24 hours, your blood is still moving. I did the experiment on the dog over the chest, the blood is still moving. So what is the force, real force? The atrial diastole. When the atrial diastole, I made the experiments here, it can give negative pressure up to minus 24 millimeters of mercury. It creates a suction force and sucks the blood back into the atrium. So atrium keeps the blood in motion on the veins, ventricle keeps the blood in motion on the arteries. And this is how the blood circulates. This completes our knowledge, basic physiology of circulation. You have to take out
guidance ideas. You have to take out completely stuck. I was stuck. Two things stuck up. One is anatomy of Aristotle. Second is the law of muscle contraction by Starling. What he did an experiment on the dog, frogs like this. Every one of you are done. All of you are done. Definitely, physiology. You like to simulate the frog's leg goes into contraction. You got a curve and you jump and say muscle contracts. This is stuck in our mind. It was stuck in my mind too. I could not get out of it to give assign a counter rate to that. One day, God's rate, I got out of it. And then I realized muscle contracts. He said, what applies for the dog, frog's leg also applies to its heart. Because it's striated muscle. No, it doesn't apply. In my experiment, I can show during atrial diastole, it can respond so much that it can create a negative pressure of minus 24 millimeters of mercury. That means in the heart, during systole, muscle contracts. During diastole, it expands. It is both are active phenomena. There is no passive phenomenon. Actually, as it is said in Ishwashuddha, Ishavasyam idam jagatyam jagat. It says in Indian Upanishad. What is the meaning of that? Ishavasyam idam. This is the abode of the Lord. This universe is the abode of the Lord. In this abode, jagatyam jagat, it is continuously changing. It is not the same. Every moment this abode is changing. What is the meaning of change? Change means something in motion. There is no resting phase in the creation. So why should it be a resting phase for the atrial diastole? It's part of the creation. It's part of the universe. There is no resting phase for the heart. That's diastole or systole. If at all you want to say, between the two phenomena, there's a small pause. When you can say resting, it's not resting. Rest is the imagination of the human mind. Why you say you created the word? That time you feel little more comfortable. That means resting phase, your energy consumption is the lowest. That's why you feel that. Otherwise, there's no resting phase. If I stand for a long time, I sit down to rest. If I sit down, I cannot sit for a long time. I stand up or do something else. I have to keep in motion. Whenever the consumption energy is lowest, that is the time you say resting. But resting is the wrong word that's created. It has created so much problem for all of us. It's resting. Sayasta. So I'll show one slide. Show the how to model our understanding of subject. By the way, this explains the hold on. This explains why the valves move. No, voice coming. I have an explanation. What I'm saying is, as the voice is not coming, when the atria goes into diastole, it sucks the blood up and the valves move open. When it goes into systole, the blood column falls down, so there's a gravitational force, so it closes the valves. So that explains why the venous valves move. It's passive. The secondary into diastole. I don't know. The schedule doesn't come. Okay. Fine. Yeah. I think I'm going to stop here. More, if you want to understand, please read the whole book with the great concentration and contemplate. Because most of the things are new. Don't discard just like that. Give it benefit of doubt what is said. One thing inspired to me in Aristotle's teaching is he makes that statement, and I use it myself. If you find a new fact by experimental means or by contemplation, which is contradicting the old beliefs, then the belief should be modified or, if necessary, it should be discarded. This is why I was bold enough to stand in front of all. Initially, it was not easy. Then I started presenting this in conference after conference world over. In front, then I got the courage to present in front of the cardiologist. So it's not easy. And one of my cardiologist chief, very brilliant guy. When I was getting carried away, I used to tell him, Doctor, so and so, this atrial diastole is very mechanical. So, Dinker, this cardiology, he turned out here, vascular surgeon. Stay out of it, he said. And believe it or not, he called me and said, Dinker, I wanted to call you a long time. I want to apologize. What a humble man he is. So when he comes to know it is different. So it's a very beautiful journey and beautiful experience with all my friends. And let me thank Dr. Bayani for taking the leadership and arranging and putting everything together. And the fourth, my residence, actually, I'm greater than what I am because my residence has become iconic figures in the city of New York. Dr. Muthuswamy is the chairman of he started and everything. And then Dr. Bill Lewis is an iconic figure. He was the chairman of his group, now he's the chairman of Palms Lebanon. And then Dr. Purcell. Dr. Purcell is that his memory nobody can beat. Amazing memory. If I want to recall anything, I ask Purcell, please tell me, am I right or wrong? Then if you say right, nobody can refute it. He is now the president of the medical staff of one group in the system. I had the opportunity to participate in their learning time. They have become so big. I thank Dr. Purcell and Dr. Krishna, my classmate. MS Krishna, I cannot forget. He never took anything I said seriously during those days. So only after I wrote the book, I came to him. Otherwise, he will raise his eyebrow. If it's so great, how come you are inventing it? Actually, it happened to me also. Ultimately, one day I read the autobiography of Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein operated Brooklyn Jewish Medical Center. I have the history and physical of Albert Einstein. They are throwing it out. I have it even now. He said, when he found that E is equal to MC squared, he jumped into the neighbor's house and ran in and told him, he is a neighbor for such a long time. Listen, Albert, if it is so great, how come you can find it out? He said, he was disappointed. Then he went like this, some other place. Then he got smart. When he had a presence in front of the people, he didn't say E is equal to MC squared. He put 2 pages of equations, one after the one, all of the mind-boggling equations. At the end, he comes and shows E is equal to MC squared. These guys are baffled. And they said, this guy is a genius. And my father told me the same thing. Amma used to call me Amma. He's my inspiration, actually, my father. Today's Father's Day. Let me thank him. Why? Because Father's Day, and also he got the first heart attack at 42, when he did not know anything about the heart. Ironically, I ended up doing something on the heart. I thank Father because he was my inspiration always. He told me one thing. Amma, doesn't matter whatever you know in life. If you cannot explain in 5 minutes, you cannot explain it in 1 hour. But he said, next sentence, but do one thing, don't explain anybody anything in 5 minutes. Go on talking about 1 hour, and the end of it, you tell the truth. Thank you very much.